Yo, I'm Brendan. Are you and I using the right investing brokerage? Or are we missing out on features that we actually want and need because there are brokers out there we've not yet heard of? Well, that was my first question whenever I heard about this investing brokerage called Firstrade. What could it be offering that I'm missing out on? I use a bunch of different brokerage accounts, but everybody's a little different. So today I'm going to be taking you on a tour of Firstrade to show you their features so you can answer that question for yourself. I will be your tour guide. Come with me. Walk this way. Walk this way. Full disclosure, this video is sponsored, but as is with most of my sponsored videos, I accepted the sponsorship because I think the video is worth making in and of itself. Plus, I need more money for burritos and race cars. Critically, this is not a review of Firstrade because if you're getting paid to make a review of something, that's going to compromise your journalistic integrity. It's going to skew your opinion. So this is a tour of the features. First up, what is Firstrade? At a 30,000 foot view, Firstrade allows you to invest in the stock market by trading stocks, ETFs, options, mutual funds, and fixed income products all in one place. It offers margin, dividend reinvestment, securities lending, if you're into that, and cash management. And critically, what's it cost to use? Because initially everything sounds good, but then if there's a big fat price tag, it changes the story. What I want to know is, number one, is there a flat fee? Or is there a percentage of assets under management fee? A lot of investing services have that kind of thing. Does Firstrade have that? No. $0 commission trades, $0 options contract fees, no minimums in terms of deposits and stuff like that, no inactivity fees. And now part two, let's talk about potentially the most interesting part of this whole investing brokerage company. I'm talking about it right now up front because I hate it when people drag out a video and they bury the most interesting part of the whole video at the 85% mark of the video, so you're trying to watch all the way through it and skip to the interesting thing. No, the wild AI tools that Firstrade has, we're going to talk about right now. In my opinion, at first glance, this is the most cutting edge and innovative feature that they offer. And best of all, it's totally for free. After we're done with this, I'm going to go over all the features of Firstrade in detail, like how their stock trading works and all that kind of stuff. But for now, let's talk about the AI sexiness. What they have is what's called Firstrade GPT, and it's a free way for you to research your investments and do financial analysis with the power of AI. And one of the best things I think at first glance is seeing that you aren't just getting a big chunk of text as an answer to a question. This is the normal way. This is how language models typically work. You ask a question, you get a big chunk of text, the end. But you can see on the website, whenever somebody asks a question about this particular security, then Firstrade GPT actually shows them relevant charts and graphs like you would expect to find in your own research and analysis. Makes sense so far? Because in all of the other AI assistant financial tool kind of things that I've used so far, they feel like single-use kitchen tools. You have one tool for one task. You can type into this little language model a question, then it gives you one little answer. And the problem is you then have to switch to a totally different tool for another task. And if you have something else, you switch to another tool. And before long, you need at least 3 or 4 tools to do the same research or get the same output that you could just do on your own. So why am I using this AI tool? It doesn't make sense. And that's why I like Firstrade GPT so much more, is it combines a bunch of those outputs into one place for you. So it actually is a time saver, unlike a lot of these other AI services I've used. Not only that, they tee up a whole nother area of AI that I had never even thought about before, which is financial education. You have a question about a certain account type that helps you to invest for your goals. Just ask it. Maybe you don't know what a particular financial term means. You don't need to tab out, go to Google, search for a source, try and vet that. No, you just ask the GPT. And I agree, if you're like shaking your head right now, it seems logical in hindsight that we could use this singular tool for all of that research and all that information and education and all that. But why haven't I seen it before now? Why haven't other people done that in a really blatant, obvious way like they're doing? This is still not a review, but as a basic test of whether or not this is even worth talking about, I had to try out the tool and see if it worked at all. I know it's kind of silly to say that, but let's just say also some of the other AI investing tools that I've used in the past literally do not function. You ask them a simple question and it just sits there and it thinks and it thinks and it does nothing for you. So it's a good idea, but a terrible execution. So I wanted to see if Firstrade GPT is different, and here's my test. So here's the view inside my actual Firstrade GPT account that I just opened. It tells us a little bit about, what we can do with this thing. I'll continue. Firstrade GPT beta. I could ask, summarize Apple's latest earnings call. Wow. A new record. Revenue is down year over year, which I've also read in other places. iPhone 16, only okay. iPad revenue is up. Mac revenue is up. New AI platform. Oh, I love that they source them too. Heyo. Part of my issue with some AI stuff is that you don't really know where it's pulling information from, and it's difficult to know, is this a conflation of information that's out there, or is it actually accurate? But it's cool they give you the sources. Wow. What has Apple's stock price done over the last 15 years? Can I ask it something as stupidly worded as that? Here's an overview of Apple's stock price over the last 15 years, including total return, which includes dividends. Current price, 52-week range, total return performance, 25% year to date, pretty good. And then as promised on the website, an actual frickin' chart. Ooh, can I make this bigger? Wow, dude, nice. What are the analyst predictions for Apple's stock price in the next 5 years? Not that I trust analysts, because they are flawed human beings like I am. But, what do they say? They got price targets, 42 different estimates. Most people think it's worth buying or holding on to. Somebody thinks it'll outperform. A couple of really critical people think it's going to underperform. Oh, and then a chart with price targets. Again. Okay, well, this remains not a review, but at least we know it works. Also, another claim, which is sort of like what I just tested out, is that you can use industry-grade data to forecast into the future up to 1 year. That's pretty wild, right? Okay, we got to try that. It's a little slow, or maybe my computer's slow. Based on current trends, what will Apple's price be in 6 months? Here are the analyst predictions for Apple's stock price over the next 5 years. We already had that. Target prices. Okay, price in the next 6 months. Based on the current analyst estimates for Apple stock price, here are the key figures. Price targets, same kind of recommendations as before. Maybe I asked you similar of a question, but I think it's literally given us the same answer as before. So anyway, you can use actual analyst information and data to forecast out into the future. 6 months from now would be somewhere around there. High, low, consensus. Cool. Now on to part 3, which is about all the other features and services and things that they offer in a bit more detail. You can, unsurprisingly, invest in stocks with Firstrade. And so what does that mean? You've got penny cap stocks, large cap stocks, both listed and over-the-counter stocks, drip program if you're into that kind of thing, which I am, ETFs, I'm into that, extended hours trading, conditional orders and trailing stops. We got a lot of options here. ETFs specifically. $0 per ETF trade, so no commissions on over 2,200 ETFs. We like no commissions. These ETFs have the same advantages of all other ETFs, which is to say they've got tax efficiency, diversification, the kind of things you want in an ETF. And then they also give you Morningstar research tools. So that's pretty awesome because I feel like it's, again, a case of, do you want to have to go out into a third party, tab out, open a new tab, find Morningstar, log in, whatever, or just do it all in one place? I'm not an options guy, but they say they have the best deal for options traders, $0 commissions and 0 contract fees, no exchange, exercise, or assignment fees. Very few fees is what it's looking like. And here's how they stack up compared to other brokers who also offer options. In case you want to do a little chart comparison, maybe you use Fidelity, you want to know what the difference is. Looks like more fees than mutual funds. Have you ever had a hard time finding a mutual fund that you wanted? Well, they have 11,000 mutual funds to choose from. That is a crazy amount. It says they've got a powerful screener tool for you to actually use to sort through those 11,000, which you need because when there's that many, it's like going to Cheesecake Factory and you get a menu that's like this thick. I don't even know where to start. I need a filter option. Well, they got that here. And it says they have easy to access fund profiles, so you can get information about it if you want to invest in that. And then, of course, a periodic investment program, which is just another way of saying, regularly scheduled investments that are set up to happen on a periodic basis. So if you're not already doing that, if you don't already have your investment set to automatic, probably a good idea, but this is not financial advice. Then they also have fixed income products. So things like secondary market CDs, treasury bills, notes, bonds, primary market CDs, municipal bonds, zeros and strips, agency bonds, and more. I don't even know what a third of those things even are. Needless to say, the number of options you have continues to be a lot. If you're interested in fixed income, you could probably do it all here. And then, of course, fractional shares. It is crazy to me. It's pure madness that not every brokerage has fractional shares, but it's true. They don't all have them. So they say for as little as $5, you can have a fraction of whatever the thing is that you want to invest in. Stocks, ETFs, whatever it is. And the crazy thing is, this is still something that people sometimes get wrong. They think, oh, well, I want to buy NVIDIA stock, but I have to save up $890 to be able to afford an NVIDIA stock. So I'm just going to wait until then, collect a couple more paychecks, and then I'll get one. No, you don't have to do that. With fractional shares, you can just put in $5, $10, $20, and you have a fractional chunk of that company that's proportionally as value as if you had, the whole chunk of it. You just get to have a little taste. It's like saying you're not going to have any pie because you can't have the whole thing. You don't have to wait. Have a bite of pie right now. Pie is so much better than cake. That'll be the secret comment word for today is pie versus cake. Which one do you like more? The correct answer is pie. Then significantly, the pricing structure is something that we need to pay attention to whenever we're investing because the fees, the assets under management fees, all that kind of stuff can whittle away your returns. And here's their pricing structure. Whole lot of zeros and frees. That's what I'm seeing. As far as margin rate goes, it looks like they kind of land middle of the pack to me. They're not the lowest, but they're definitely not the highest because I have both Vanguard and Robinhood, and they kind of represent for me the lowest and the highest in terms of extremes. They're right here, kind of in the middle of the pack. Here's the pricing for special services. If you use that kind of thing, you can pause it right now and see what those are. Then as a brokerage comparison, you can look at Firstrade versus a lot of these other, very popular ones. Options contracts, certain investment products. Pause the screen if you want to see it. And of course, as I mentioned, margin rates just a minute ago, they offer margin. Not everyone has margin loans, but what that is where you borrow money against the money you already have invested. And it's nice to have a low margin rate because then you're paying less interest on it. But this gives you flexibility. Maybe you want to turn that money around and invest more of it. Maybe you want to buy something else with it and pay yourself back, but you're sort of like your own bank. You're self-funding whatever it is that you're trying to do instead of having to go out to some outside source and get funding that way. They also offer securities lending, which I've done videos about in the past if you want to check those out. What it basically means is whenever you own certain stocks, the brokerage will pay you. They will give you cash in lieu of dividends. They will pay you a certain kind of pay rate to lend out your shares to other people for other purposes. And specifically, it says earnings are accrued daily and credited to your account on a monthly basis. You retain full ownership of the securities. You can sell them at any time. Because this isn't a review and I'm not providing financial advice, I'm not going to talk about pros and cons of doing this. But the cool thing is this is an option that you can very easily click on or off. If you want to do it, on. If you don't, off. Super simple. Also, critically, one of the factors that I think every brokerage needs to have is cash management, and they do. The one hurdle you have to get over is this account equity minimum, which is $25,000 in your account overall with Firstrade. It doesn't mean you have to have 25 grand in cash. And it's just so handy to have this as an option for your account because it's held with no annual fee. And then you can have something like a debit card attached to it. So you can do a bunch of your banking, check writing, cash handling stuff all in the same place where your investing is too. I think this is a requirement for everybody. They also offer extended hours trading. So it's not just regular market hours from 9:30 to 4, which a bunch of them do. You can actually trade pre-market, aftermarket, and I love that they give you a little bit of information down here too. What you should know about trading during extended hours. Same low $0 per commission. Only limit hours, only limit orders are allowed. They're separate from the regular trading session. Like if you're going to propose something like this to me, I would hope that you would give me this kind of information in there, but not everybody does. So I appreciate that. Then one of my favorites is a DRIP plan, dividend reinvestment plan. That's just where you can automate if you want. You can turn it on and off super easy in your settings. Do I want my dividends to immediately go back into that same thing that gave me the dividend? So then I earn more of it. The next time I get a bigger dividend and that snowball continues to grow and grow and grow over time. Or you want to hold on to that cash, put it in your cash management account, or otherwise take it out and buy burritos and race cars. Awesome to have that option. Another big factor whenever we're investing our money is accessing the kind of accounts that we want. Now, ideally, you would have everything that you need in one login. You might want to have multiple different kinds of investing accounts, but having them all in one place simplifies your life. It makes everything easy to track. It makes you have less logins and less tax headaches and all of that. So let's see what kind of accounts Firstrade has. Number one, predictably, they've got a brokerage account. It's a very general, basic, no limits kind of investing account that I think everyone should have for its own purpose, a taxable brokerage account as it's better known. So I'm not surprised that they have that, but they also have IRAs, traditional, Roth. You can roll over an IRA from your old 401k or rolling over an IRA from somebody else and put it here. Really quickly, if you're not familiar with the different kinds of IRAs that are out there, the first is a Roth IRA. And what this does is let you pay taxes on the money once this year and then never again. It's incredible because what that means is whenever you need to withdraw money in the future for any reason, you can tap into this without fees and taxes and penalties and all the issues you might have with another kind of retirement account. And so the beautiful thing is it's kind of like an emergency fund for you if you need it. Obviously, that's going to really like shish kebab your future retirement and your gains and stuff like that if you're pulling money out, but it is an option. Then whenever you retire someday, all of those contributions, all the gains you've had, everything is tax-free because you already paid taxes on it. So this is a really cool option for you if you qualify. There are income limits for this. So if you're a really high earner, you either got to kind of forget about this one or do what's called a backdoor Roth IRA. That's a separate topic for a different day. But for most of us, a Roth IRA is an incredibly good option for us to save into for our retirement. Another good option that people don't look at enough is rolling over an IRA. So obviously you can take an IRA from one investing brokerage company and roll it over into another one, like put it into Firstrade. But you can also take your 401k whenever you leave your job, roll it over into a traditional IRA and keep that money, keep managing that money. And most of all, don't forget about it. A lot of people, we're talking about billions of dollars worth of 401ks are forgotten because a lot of people just think, oh, I left the job. The money is still there. I don't know. We just don't think about it or we think it's not ours. This money is yours. Do not forget about it. All you have to do is set it up with Firstrade or whatever broker you're choosing, roll it over into an IRA. then that money is still yours. It's yours to keep and manage and invest and grow, and it's amazing. They even help you do it. They have IRA specialists who are made to do this for you. So you really have no excuse because they make it easy. Limited time offer, get up to $250 in transfer fee rebates when you switch to Firstrade. This is a no-brainer. And then, of course, we also have a traditional IRA. And this is where you make contributions into it. That just means you send money into it and you get a tax break this year because the government basically says, hey, you invested this money. You didn't keep it to spend on burritos and race cars. This is just money that you've put into your retirement account. So we're actually going to lower your taxable income this year and give you a break. Then that money grows tax deferred until you withdraw it in retirement someday in the future. And at that point, you pay taxes on it. But typically, the money we invest gets pretty favorable tax treatment. And so this is a really great option for you if you want to save some money on taxes now, this year. Or also, if you have a high enough income that you don't qualify for a Roth IRA. Don't just rule out IRAs. You can still use a traditional IRA. It's still a really great option for you. And if you really wanted to get into the nitty gritty of traditional versus Roth, they even have a comparison chart for that. So there's no reason for you to not pick the right IRA for you. They've got a cute little savings calculator here, which I really love. Let's say I'm 37. I'm going to contribute $12,000 per year. I want to retire at 52, and I'm going to get a 9% rate of return. Let's see what it tells me. Well, if I did all of that, then I'd have $384,000 saved. Pretty good. Not enough, but that's not our only account either. So if I was doing that, now I know where I stand. Oh, and this is really handy. Why does everyone not do this? In this little tax center, they give you the contribution limits for last year and this year, including if you're under 50 or over 50. I don't know how many times a year I Google that, but it's probably more than 6 times a year, like contribution limits IRA, contribution limits 401k. The fact that they put it here, I love it. Then you can also do international accounts. So it says take advantage of the great opportunities offered by the U.S. financial markets. I'm assuming what this means is if you live in a different country besides America, you want to open an account here, you can. U.S. tax benefits, account protection, all that stuff. If you're watching this and you're outside of the United States, there are factors to that I may or may not understand, and so do your own research, but it seems really cool that it's an option for you. It says they also have customer service in English, Mandarin, and Cantonese. So it seems like they're marketing themselves a little bit more towards like the Chinese market. Makes sense. That's a big market, a big growing economy. So if you want to soak up a bunch more customers, it seems logical to do that. Then they also have accounts for kids. So they have what's called a Coverdell ESA account, formerly known as an education IRA. They got more information for that in here if you want that. They also have a custodial account, which I know a lot of people like. I don't see an option in here for 529s, but I know those are kind of hosted by the state, so I'm not sure that could even be an option here, but it's really cool. And then here's where Firstrade really goes kind of above and beyond because they provide us with an education center. And you could go elsewhere across the whole internet and try and find resources for yourself to learn things like stocks, options, ETFs, like what do these things mean? How does that affect my portfolio? But they give it to us all right here on the website just natively. If you click into this ETF section, you've got the whole history of ETFs, what it means for you today, what the advantages of them are, the types of ETFs you might want to know about. It's really handy, and most websites don't do this, and so I think it's a really cool value add that they do. They even have an investment glossary. It's so funny they did this because I had a series of videos where I was trying to define investing terms for people so I could provide them with this kind of resource, and here it is. So if there's any kind of investing word that you don't understand, you could come and look at this, even if you don't even use Firstrade. It's pretty wild they give us all this. And then because it's basically mandatory nowadays, Firstrade also has a mobile app. So you can get into your account, you can make trades, you can check on your portfolio just to see what your gains and losses are in real time. Hopefully more gains and losses, but no promises. They've just recently refined their order workflow, and so it makes things easier for you if you want to do that. You can even do more advanced things like placing options from your phone. And you can even set up foundational things like funding your account from 2,500 different banks that are compatible with Firstrade. So very, very handy. Then if you are somebody who trades options, they have a dedicated tool made for you called the Options Wizard. And so it's not enough that they just can allow you to use options if that's an investing style that you prefer. This Options Wizard can actually give you feedback on the value and likelihood of success of any of the options trades that you're looking at. That is pretty wild if you ask me. I don't personally trade options, but if I had the option to have this kind of like useful data that actually gives me some feedback on the thing I'm planning, I think that would be really, really handy. And it looks like they're breaking things down here in a way that you can really understand them because they give you an options play score so that you can evaluate the risk and reward of your trade, which is pretty interesting. They give you analytics in a more plain and easy to understand way, so you don't have to be some Wall Street finance bro for your actual full-time job to understand what's happening here. And using covered calls to generate income is a pretty popular strategy for a lot of people. Again, I don't personally do that, But if you want to do that, then they actually have this dedicated tool that is made just for that. So you can dial in that options trade exactly how you want it to get the income you want and get everything specified in the way that benefits you the most. And then Firstrade continues the trend of giving you more than you even asked for, because there's this whole education series around options trading. An options 101 course, a complete options trading course. I mean, this is a tremendous amount of resources all available to you, all on their one website. It's wild how much stuff they put together here. And then they also have an upcoming IPO calendar. So if you're somebody who tracks IPOs or you care about that kind of thing that influences how you invest, bada bing, bada boom. Upcoming IPOs right here. It looks to me like Firstrade has a lot of features and not a lot of fees, but this isn't a full review. I'll probably do that at a later date. For now, if you want to get an account started with them, it is for free. Remember, Firstrade GPT is also for free. Check the link in the description. I don't know if that's an affiliate link or not. I haven't even talked to them about that, but either way, the link is there for you. If you're not comfortable doing that, then just Google Firstrade or Firstrade GPT. Get there, sign up for the account. It literally took me 4 minutes to actually have an account set up. It is not hard. Thank you to my members for supporting me as always. You heard the secret comment word further back in the video, so if you want to leave that, leave it as a comment. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.